Hey, what's up? My name is Petrowski, and today I wanted to make a video talking about PokeMMO slang, terms, and vocabulary. So what this video is going to be all about is kind of explaining to newer players or players who have come to the game and see all of these crazy acronyms and things in trade chat or in team chat or in global chat or wherever, things like WTS, Compra, WTB, things like this where you're like, what the heck is going on? I'm going to go through a list of these that I have written out in a notepad document and try to explain them to you guys to the best of my ability, give you guys some more insight and education on PokeMMO. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up the notepad document here, and I'll try to bring this up and down when needed. First thing we're going to be talking about, though, is OT, which you can kind of see right there, original trainer. And what that means is this. So you're going to have your trainer card, and your trainer card is going to be, your profile, your name, your character, etc. And you're going to have this next to each Pokemon. So each Pokemon is going to have an OT. And OT basically means, original trainer. That means who caught that Pokemon. OT is really important, not really important, but kind of a flex when it comes to shinies. There's a huge difference between having an OT shiny and just a shiny you bought off the GTL. When you have that OT shiny, you caught it yourself, you earned that, you hunted that, you made that grind yours. It's a really important distinction, and a lot of players really care about that, including myself. It's really easy to make a lot of Pokeyen and buy a shiny, but there's a lot of distinction and a lot of renown behind getting an OT shiny Pokemon. So it's at least important to know, and people want to retain that OT when breeding shinies and other activities of the like. But that's pretty much it for original trainer. It's a pretty simple thing, but you don't have to worry about it too much in the traditional Pokemon games because not a lot of people trade in those games, or there's not a whole lot of trading to be done. So, and it's not really relevant. So it just comes up a lot more in PokeMMO since you're in that MMO atmosphere. Alright, so on to the next one, UT. Now, UT is a bit of an older term. I still use it. I still think it's a really nice term to be used. UT basically means you have a Pokemon that is a UT. UT is an untrained Pokemon ready for comp. It means that Pokemon has the correct IVs, has the correct ability, but it needs to be moveset, it needs to be leveled, it needs to be EV trained. It's perfect IV wise and perfect in a lot of other ways, but still sort of needs to be trained up. So untrained is what we mean by that, but it's a comp ready Pokemon needing to be trained. So I have a thing like a box called UTs, which sorts all my untrained Pokemon. So these are all Pokemon that I either need to EV train or level up or moveset. If you see this bunch of level 50 Pokemon over in this kind of bottom right corner, these are all Pokemon that I need to moveset still. So I have a full box of UTs that I personally need to organize and get through. Alright, on to the next one, which is going to be comp. So comp just means a fully completed competitive Pokemon. So a comp Pokemon is going to have the right IVs, EV trained, be leveled, have the correct ability, and be moveset. Have everything working gear that a competitive Pokemon needs. Pretty simple stuff there. Alright, EVs and IVs I'm going to try to kind of combine. So these are kind of important competitive Pokemon stats that come up in PokeMMO, even in the storyline in my opinion. EVs are what are called effort values. These are stats points that you get from defeating Pokemon in the wild and defeating trainers Pokemon. So they can also be shared via experience share as an item. Basically, each Pokemon in the game gives a certain effort value. And I'll go ahead and show you that here in game. Let's go ahead and close this. So if we open up Beartic, if you were to find a Beartic and defeat it in the wild, it would give you +2 attack EVs. And then each EV in a Pokemon can be raised up to 252. 252 is the max EV a Pokemon can have in one stat, and it can have a total of up to 510 EVs. So you can do 252 in 2 different stats and then have 4 to 6 EVs to spare. Every 4 EVs equates to 1 stat. So even though you have 6 EVs after the 252 and 2 stats, only the 4 will really matter. The last 2 EVs actually don't matter and don't give you any stats, which not many players really know. Alright, and then back to IVs. IVs are stats that your Pokemon are born with and cannot be changed on that Pokemon without breeding. I can go ahead and show you that here. So as you can see, this Torkoal, these are the IVs, 25s across, and decent, this is a decent Torkoal. These stats can't be changed. These stats will range from 0 to 31. If you have a 6 times 31 Pokemon in IVs, you're going to have a 186 total IV Pokemon. It's kind of what the total down here means. You also have a nice little, a cute little tooltip in game to kind of explain this to you. So that is nice that they at least have that in game nowadays. All right, and then on to Rockslide / Stonequake, or whatever you want to call it. Rockslide is basically Earthquake and Rockslide. These are two moves that have a lot of coverage and can often be learned by rock type and ground type Pokemon. They're very commonly used moves throughout PvP or competitive Pokemon, but can also be super helpful in the storylines. I believe Rockslide and EQ just have an Earthquake. They just have a ton of coverage and just hit most Pokemon of the game. And then Stonequake is just Stone Edge plus Earthquake. Rockslide kind of ended up getting replaced by Stone Edge once Stone Edge was released into the game, because that is a very powerful move. All right, now on to RP. Hopefully you can see it okay. In the notepad document, RP is going to be reward points. This is kind of the in-game cash shop currency. I can go ahead and show you that here. You actually can buy RP with IRL money, or you can also buy with in-game money. On the GTL, you can buy reward points tickets, which are actually here. You can also sell them, buy them and sell them for in-game currency. But this is where you'll get things like ocarinas, particles, donator status, gift shop items, vanity items, etc. All of this can be bought with in-game gold, which is super nice that you do have that option. But yeah, reward points are kind of the IRL in-game cash system currency. That's all you need to know about it. All right, now on to BP. BP is otherwise known as battle points, and that is going to be the currency you gain from playing PvP matches and playing the battle tower in the game. As you can see here, BP battle points on your trainer card. I currently have 7,000. This can be used to buy move tutors, actually. Very specific move tutors from the battle tower. It can be used to buy choice bands, choice scarf, choice specs, which are really important items in the game, and it's the main way of bringing those into the game. So battle points are just kind of a PvP currency, and a currency to get specific items or specific rewards in game. All right, pretty simple one. Yen, Pokeyen, whatever you want to call it. It's just the main currency of the game. It's always in every Pokemon game, although it matters a lot in an MMO format. So it's important to understand Yen / Pokeyen. It's the main currency of the game. It's money. It is what it is. All right, now on to a bit of a funny one, hacks. So HAX. Hacks usually refers to kind of being affected by some sort of RNG status condition, aka paralyzed, confusion, or freeze. So if a Blissey throws up an ice beam and you get freezed, you could say like, oh, I lost that game to hacks. Or if you get like parried, and like aren't able to move for like 3 to 5, like 4 turns in a row, you're like, oh, I lost that game to parahacks. Be careful with this term. It's a tilt term. Just be careful. You don't want to throw it around too much. Usually it just tilts you. But it's at least important to be aware of if someone brings it up in conversation. All right, WTB and WTS. So these mean willing to buy and willing to sell. You'll see these in trade chat all the time. I'm pretty sure I can open up trade chat right now and yeah, see some. So yeah, willing to sell, willing to buy torch, sell / vendo, similar things. Willing to buy, willing to sell, pretty simple MMO kind of terms. You'll see these terms sometimes in other MMOs, not just PokeMMO, but if you haven't played many MMOs before, it's really important to understand those terms. All right, and then on to Compra / vendo. These are just buy and sell for Spanish-speaking players. You see these a lot in trade chat, and I encourage people to trade with non-English speaking players even if you only speak English. I use Google Translate a lot. It's a really good way to get good deals. I use Google Translate in different games too, like RuneScape, PokeMMO. It can be really helpful to find good deals, meet new people, make new friends. It can be really worth it sometimes to bridge that barrier, the language barrier, and it's nice, it's sweet, it's kind, it's helpful. You could teach them English, or you could learn some Spanish, whatever you want to do. It is at least important, in my opinion, to know the basics of Compra / vendo. All right, and now on to Shido. So Shido is just a Ditto with no worthwhile stats, but it still holds value due to the sheer fact that it is a Ditto. Dittos are often used and bought in bulk. They're used for shiny breeding. So to breed shinies in PokeMMO, you have to consume thousands and thousands of Dittos. People will often buy Ditto boxes or Shido boxes for around 180k a pop. So Dittos usually have at least a value of around 3k a piece. So even Shidos are worth 3,000 Pokeyen. LF is another kind of trade chat term you'll see. It just means looking for. Oftentimes people will say like, oh, looking for maybe a holiday event item, or looking for a vanity item, or looking for scythe, stuff like that. Certain kind of items or things they can't really like type or show out in a certain way, they'll just say LF, space, and then the said item name they're looking for. People can also be looking for services, things like looking for leveling service, looking for EV service, looking for breeding service. It's just another important term to be aware of when browsing trade chat. All right, now on to 1x31 / 2x31, 3x31, 4x31, 5x31, and 6x31. These simply mean Pokemon with that many 31 perfect IVs. So when you see a 1x31, that means that it's a Pokemon with 1 31 IV. 2x31 means a Pokemon with 2 31 IVs. Pretty simple stuff, but really, really, really common terms. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was super aware of them. And if you don't, hopefully you know them now. All right, a breeder. A breeder is a Pokemon that is generally missing a few things. It's either missing a couple IVs, maybe 1 or 2 max. If it's missing too many IVs, it's not even considered a breeder. It's just like not, it's a release Pokemon. You just go ahead and release that. But a breeder is a Pokemon either missing an IV or 2 or maybe missing some edge moves, but it's very close to becoming a UT. You might need to breed it 1 or 2 times, but it's just very close to becoming an untrained Pokemon, ready to be made into a comp Pokemon. On to HM Friend. So I prefer the term HM Friend over HM Slave, as it's just a little nicer. There's no reason, not to. HM Friend is just a Pokemon that is used for its ability to have that diverse move pool of HM. So my favorite friend, my favorite HM Friend in game that I can show is Dragonite. Can learn Surf, Fly, Strength, and then Cut or Rock Smash are kind of the 5 main HMs that I love carrying around on Dragonite. I think it's super helpful, super nice, and I recommend always having an HM Friend almost on you at all times if possible, unless you have ocarinas, but during storylines especially, super, super helpful to have an HM Friend with you. All right, on to Utility Pokemon. A Utility Pokemon is a Pokemon that isn't built to battle. It's built to do other specific tasks, such as helping you catch Pokemon, maybe thief some items off some Pokemon, or maybe teleport. A good example would be the Catching Utility Smeargle that I have right here. A lot of people build these in game. Having Spore plus False Swipe are the 2 moves that you need to catch any Pokemon in game, or not any Pokemon, but most Pokemon. Being able to Spore it, put it to sleep, and then False Swipe. False Swipe is a move that is always going to leave the target at least 1 HP. False Swipe cannot kill a Pokemon, which is very, very helpful when trying to catch a Pokemon. And Spore is a 100% accuracy move that puts the opponent to sleep, and sleep increases the catch rate of a Pokemon by around 25%. It is a very big increase, so very, very important to have a catching Smeargle, have a utility Smeargle. You can also throw in another HM and then maybe Payday. That's kind of my recommendation of what I do, but you can put whatever moves you want onto a Smeargle. And then on to Shunting, pretty common one, or at least it's picked up a lot recently. Shunting is a really simple one. It just means shiny hunting. People will often type that in team chat or maybe in Discords or whatever. Shunting simply means time to go shiny hunting. All right, then I added 2 kind of terms here on the end that maybe not everyone uses, but I use my personal self. I use these terms. So those 2 terms are going to be noted and 1x31 more. These are kind of just terms that I personally use to label Pokemon when doing mass catching sprees or catching events, etc. It helps me sell those Pokemon later on and separate them and organize them, everything like that. So a noted Pokemon is a Pokemon with notable stats, maybe 20 to 25 plus across, and like 4 stats at least, but it has no 31s. So it's going to be used as a breeder for guaranteed, and it's just a notable Pokemon that is worth selling, but isn't quite that great, but isn't worth releasing. So it's just a notable Pokemon. Then a 1x31 Pokemon is going to be a Pokemon with 1x31 IV, but then also has a bit more going on. So either it has a really good nature, or 20 to 25 plus in 3 or more stats. Those are kind of my 2 labels that I use personally, and I recommend people use, or at least make up your own labels to help organize your Pokemon that you catch, because it saves a lot of time later on when selling. So, but I think that's everything. For this video, I believe that covers everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video if it was helpful. Dislike it if it wasn't helpful or was confusing. Leave comments, questions, concerns, and criticisms in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily PokeMMO content. This is one of the only channels you'll find on YouTube delivering daily PokeMMO content. So I really appreciate the support. Ring the bell for notifications to stay up to date on all of that daily PokeMMO content. And join the Discord below. The Discord's full of a lot of really cool people that really love and care about this game. And if you want to meet some new friends, ask some questions, just learn about this game, or just have fun, go ahead and join that Discord. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Have a freaking incredible day. Peace and love from Petrowski.